so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers, you guys. Things have been changing at an accelerated rate ever since COVID. Now, way more people essentially have the ability to work from home and now pick where they want to live. Now, this is going to help so many people from purchasing a home in an area that is overwhelmingly expensive, similar to Los Angeles, California, where the median home price is almost $1 million. But the problem with that is it's absolutely killing the locals that are in the more affordable housing market. So today we're going to explore a Redfin article to check what cities are actually hit hardest and what cities the most people are leaving from. Titled, "A Record Share of Homebuyers Are Relocating as Skyrocketing Housing Costs Make Affordable Areas Even More Attractive." Again, you guys, this is absolutely killing the locals. Like in my local housing market in Houston, we have so many people migrating here. I talked to a lot of the locals here. They're in my opinion, priced out of the market, which brings me to my next point. I am not a financial advisor. I'm simply sharing my opinions and my experiences in life, and I'm taking you guys through what I'm going through in this housing market. And if you could, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, comment. I really appreciate you guys' comments. And as you know, I'm a realtor in Houston and I'm a loan officer in Texas. Let's get started on this article right now. And you guys, this is pretty bonkers. Check this out. Nearly 1/3 of Redfin.com users look to move away from their hometown in the first quarter at an all-time high. 33%, that's crazy. Point number 2, the number of home buyers leaving Seattle has increased 6 times since before the pandemic, largely due to the remote work and soaring home prices. One factor in the early signs we're seeing of a housing market slowdown in Seattle and other pricey coastal metros. I didn't realize Seattle was being hit so hard. The number of home buyers moving into Miami, the most popular migration destination, has risen just as quickly. I didn't realize Miami was the highest migrated city. A record 32.3% of Redfin.com users nationwide look to move into different metro areas in the first quarter. That's up from 31.5% a year earlier and up significantly from 26% in 2019 before the pandemic. So 26% before the pandemic. Skyrocketing home prices and rising mortgage rates have made relocating to a more affordable area the only viable option for so many prospective homebuyers. So 1/3 of home buyers are relocating to more affordable areas. Now, you guys, that's absolutely genius. That's exactly what I have been saying is probably a good idea for a lot of people. But think of what that's doing to the states like mine. Texas and Florida are such heavy migrated states. It is having the opposite effect, right, on locals that are renting right now trying to buy a house. So on one hand, it's really good to escape really expensive parts of the nation. On the other hand, if you already live in those places, it's really, really frustrating. Let's continue reading this article right now. Okay, guys, take a look at this graph. 32% of homebuyers are looking to relocate. That's an all-time high, okay? So this is Q1 of 2022. This goes in quarters here to Q1 of 2019. What's interesting is pre-COVID, we're actually at 25% of relocation rate. 25% I think is still a lot, but it's essentially went from 25% here to 32% here in Q1 of 2022. Now, that may not seem like a lot, you guys, but that's roughly a 7% difference. So imagine 7% of buyers relocating now, right? Post-COVID, which is very interesting if you think about it. The fact that so many people have the ability to work from home, the ability to relocate, and not the requirement to live right next to your work is completely changing the landscape of our housing market across the nation. So if you think that you live in an affordable city right now, beware, you may have a surge in mass migration on the next housing cycle, right? Right now, I think it's going to be a complete meltdown, but this is very interesting. Let's keep reading this article. Home buyers are leaving Seattle at a much faster rate than before the pandemic. The number of home buyers leaving the Seattle area has picked up significantly over the last 2 years. An example of how the pandemic is changing where people choose to live. The typical home in Seattle sold for over $750,000 in February, up 15% year over year, making it the 8th most expensive major metro in the US behind only coastal California. Those soaring home prices combined with high concentration of tech jobs, which can typically be done remotely, have encouraged many Seattleites to seek more affordable, sunnier pastures. At the same time, would-be homeowners leaving Seattle is one reason why its housing market is showing early signs of cooling. With a slowdown in the number of buyers contacting Redfin agents in 2022 compared to last year and year-over-year decline in mortgage applications. Seattle had a net outflow of nearly 24,000 residents in the first quarter, up from 10,000 a year earlier and about 4,000 2 years earlier before the pandemic began. Net outflow is a measure of how many more Redfin.com users looked to leave an area than move in. So essentially, some areas are seeing a mass exodus of residents leaving that city and state, and then some cities are seeing a mass surge of more residents trying to escape the expensive housing market. So let's see what cities are doing what right now. And I think you guys are going to find this really interesting. I actually did. I didn't realize where some people are leaving and some people are going, but check this information out right now. Okay, guys, this is the top 10 metros by net outflow of users and their top destinations. So these are the top cities of people leaving, right? So this is the top city people are leaving and then where they're going to. So this is interesting. So the number one city, San Francisco, California. So 52,000 people moved in Q1 of 2022 alone. So 2022 Q1, 52,000 people moved out. Top destination, this is crazy, you guys. Seattle, Washington, really? So Seattle was the top destination for people leaving San Francisco. Very interesting. Here's Los Angeles, super overpriced, 37,000 people left. Most of those people, Phoenix, Arizona. That's wild. Obviously, New York is number 3. New York, 32,000 people left. Most of them went to Miami. I can see that. I absolutely love Florida personally. Number 4, Washington, D.C. with 25,000 people leaving. Oh my gosh, going to Salisbury. That is wild from Washington, D.C. Number 5, Seattle, Washington, 23,000 moving to Phoenix. That's wild. Phoenix is so number 2 and number 5, which is Los Angeles and Seattle. Most of those people are leaving to Phoenix. That's pretty shocking to me. Number 6 is Boston at 14,000. Most of them are moving to Portland. Chicago is number 7 at almost 9,000, moving to Florida, Cape Coral, Florida. I love Florida. Denver's number 8 at 5,000, people moving to Chicago. Minneapolis at 3,000, again to Chicago. Not sure why so many people are moving to Chicago. That's wild to me. Number 10, Portland, Oregon, moving to Seattle. So that's really interesting, you guys. If you look here, we got a couple Seattles and a few in Florida. So that's really intriguing to note. And if you guys can tell, number 1 and number 2 from the West Coast. So there's a huge unaffordability problem, you guys, on the West Coast, specifically California and coastal cities. I know that because I'm from Southern California and I moved from Southern California a decade ago, so leave me alone, to escape the massive expensive cost of living there. And I moved to Texas, Houston, Texas, and with my family, and I absolutely love it, you guys. I absolutely love Texas. It's way more affordable to live. In my opinion, people are better here. It's easier to make money. We have so much more freedom. I absolutely love it here. It's probably why we're the number 1 migrated state in the nation. Let's continue on the article right now. So take a look at this chart. This is top 10 metros by net inflow and their top origins. So these are the top migrated cities. Now, what's really interesting, guys, is there's not as many Texas cities on here as I thought. Number 1 city migrated to in the nation, Miami. That's wild. Miami, 16,000 people moved there, most in Q1 alone, and most of them from New York. Wild. Number 2, Phoenix, Arizona, 14,000 people moved there. Top out-of-state origin, Los Angeles, California. That's wild. Number 3, Tampa, Florida, 11,000. Again, from New York. Sacramento, California. Really? Top origin, Seattle, Washington. So people are moving from Seattle to Sacramento, and Sacramento's number 4. That's wild. Las Vegas, are you serious? 9,000 people coming to Las Vegas. Top city of origin, Los Angeles, California. Number 6, Cape Coral, Florida. Another Florida at 8,000. Top state and city, Chicago, Illinois. Number 7, Northport, Florida, 7,400. Again, Chicago, Illinois. A lot of people moving from Chicago to Florida. That's wild. Number 8, San Antonio. So we made it at 7,000 roughly. Top origin, Los Angeles, California. I can't say anything, can I? Although I want to. Number 9, Dallas, Texas, another Texas state. 6,000, most people coming. Los Angeles, California, wild. Number 10, Atlanta, Georgia at 5,000. Top origin, New York, New York. So that's very interesting, you guys. Now, obviously, it clearly shows Florida and Texas high migration states, right? For various reasons. Probably the number one reason is affordability. Now, I'm going to end this video with a couple conclusions that I have after reading this data. So my opinion, you guys, it has never been a more important time to carefully choose where you're going to live next, especially if you're working from home. Avoid bubble cities, right? Avoid high demand, very expensive metro areas and maybe move a little bit away or possibly into another state. But the reality is all of this ability to work from home and relocate is massively changing the landscape of our real estate and housing market forever. Now, while it's really, really good for so many people to be able to avoid these expensive and high cost areas, the opposite effect of that is the toll it's taking on the locals in those affordable areas. So if you're going to move out of state into a state that's affordable, definitely remember this: show love to the locals because you're probably making it more expensive for them to live. Nevertheless, you guys, I still think it's super important to be careful where you live and don't, especially in this market, don't pick a place that's overvalued in the housing market bubble. But that's going to conclude this video, you guys. I really appreciate you taking this journey with me, and I hope you guys get a little something from each of my videos. And please, again, like I said, comment below and tell me if you're in one of those cities, and tell me if your cities is a migration area of people going or people coming. And as always, I thank you guys. If you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.